Day 1 of racing in the MonsterBlock.com Truck Fest pits our competitors on a very familiar St. Louis-style racing course, but with an added twist. They'll start on top of a tabletop and come face to face with one another as the green flag drops. They'll then rocket down into a very tight right-hand turn and head down our straightaways, where they'll face a pad of cars and a roller, after which they'll have to whoa the trucks down once again to make another sharp right-hand turn and put the power down to soar towards each other for the finish.
Do you love monster trucks? TheMonsterBlog.com is your premier source for monster truck coverage, including video, photos, and much more. Find events in your area with our industry-wide events calendar. Like us at Facebook.com/TheMonsterBlog for exclusive content. Subscribe to us at YouTube.com/TheMonsterBlog to see TMB TV, the very best monster truck television anywhere. For all your monster truck information, TheMonsterBlog.com, where we know monster trucks.
Day one of racing in the MonsterBlog.com Truck Fest pits our competitors on a very familiar St. Louis-style racing course, but with an added twist. They'll start on top of a tabletop and come face-to-face with one another as the green flag drops. They'll then rocket down into a very tight right-hand turn and head down our straightaways, where they'll face a pad of cars and a roller, after which they'll have to woe the trucks down once again to make another sharp right-hand turn and put the power down to soar towards each other for the finish.
The blueprints as they disappear. Get to the blank space filled with all our fears. To make a move could be devastation. To take a chance is the way to face them. Making a choice to take a different road. You want a revolution? Yeah! You gotta make a difference on your own. Want a revolution? Yeah! Stand up and make it now. Want a revolution? Yeah! You gotta make a difference on your own. Want a revolution? Yeah! Stand up and make it now. A new state, renovation, a new day. Bring rejuvenation these days. Another way, no replay. I think about it this way. Time's up. How can I say that's okay? Too late. I should have, could have, maybe. Why wait? When in the end it could be my last break to stay. You want a revolution? Yeah! You gotta make a difference on your own. Want a revolution? Yeah! Stand up and make it now. Want a revolution? Yeah! You gotta make a difference on your own. Want a revolution? Yeah! Stand up and make it now. Face first, new days, choices with me. Face first, new days, the choices we made. Face first, our ability to choose. I make a change instead of saying that.
The picturesque state of North Carolina is known for many things: world-renowned barbecue, auto racing of all different varieties, beautiful coastline beaches, and for being the birthplace of flight. But this weekend, a different kind of machine is poised to take flight: the 12,000-pound, 1,500 horsepower mammoth vehicles known as monster trucks. One of the largest fields in history is set to do battle at one of the finest dirt racing facilities in the country, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Over the next 2 days, these drivers will push themselves and their machines to the absolute limit on 2 separate layouts to claim the fame, glory, and title of the MonsterBlog.com Truck Fest champion. Day 1 features a wild St. Louis style course that will cut the field down by half. Then on Day 2, the difficulty gets cranked up as the remaining drivers will have to tackle one of the wildest crossover courses ever seen. Not to mention, there's a freestyle course that is sure to break the hearts and minds of these daredevils. Will these competitors rise to the occasion, or will they be felled by one of the craziest layouts ever created? Stay tuned to find out as the MonsterBlog.com Truck Fest starts right now.
We have finally reached the day that everyone's been waiting for, the MonsterBlog.com Truck Fest. Day 1, Group Stage Racing. We've got a big field here today, and to explain all of the action alongside me is Devin Doss.
That's right. Tonight we have a very unique style of racing. Now, all of our competitors have been separated into groups of 4. Every driver in their group will race every other driver in their group. This will give every driver 3 races in this first night of action. The 2 best drivers will move on to night 2 tomorrow night with the opportunity to win the 24 main truck bracket and freestyle competition. I am so excited to see how this works.
Yeah, we are definitely in for a night of intense action. I mean, everyone wants a spot in tomorrow's event. It's the chance to win that amazing trophy. So, I mean, starting out first, we are going in reverse order of the group. So Group L is coming up. We are going to have Kyle Knickerbocker, Broken Thompson, and Eduardo Damian taking to the track first. I mean, a lot of pressure for these guys.
That's right. And on paper, you could maybe say that some of the people in these groups could have an advantage, but with how difficult this track is and how different this layout is, really any of these groups could be a toss-up.
Well,
waiting.
for this bracket, we are going to have Broken Thompson taking on Eduardo Damian to start off our competition. And then followed by Kyle Knickerbocker and Broken Thompson in the second race, and Eduardo Damian and Kyle Knickerbocker in the last race.
We're just waiting on some of our competitors to prepare themselves for these 2 nights of racing action. Our first pair is going to be a Broken Thompson versus Eduardo Damian.
We do have one competitor pulling to the line, and I believe we are almost ready to go.
We have Eduardo Damian patiently waiting at the starting line. Just waiting on Broken Thompson.
It looks like Broken Thompson is not going to be able to make it, so Eduardo is going to take the solo pass.
This will be a good thing for Eduardo. He will already be going 1-0 in this group. Takes a nice and clean down that roller. Takes a very fast turn, watches out a little bit, spins out. Good thing this is just a buy run. Easy down the front stretch, spin it around, and he is going to take his clean pass. Waiting our next race here. As we can see, Eduardo Damian taking his solo pass easily,
There
taking
may
ahead in this group.
have been a little miscommunication. I believe that Broken Thompson may have not been called in.
Certainly an
So we're
unfortunately
going to have to redo that group starting over.
drama already picking up on this first night of the Truck Fest. We're going to be right back after this ad, so stick with us.
Do you love monster trucks? TheMonsterBlog.com is your premier source for monster truck coverage, including video, photos, and much more. Find events in your area with our industry-wide events calendar. Like us at Facebook.com/TheMonsterBlog for exclusive content. Subscribe to us at YouTube.com/TheMonsterBlog to see TMB TV, the very best monster truck television anywhere. For all your monster truck information, TheMonsterBlog.com, where we know monster trucks.
And we are back. Sorry about that, a little hiccup. Little miscommunication. We are back, starting over with Group L. We're gonna get Eduardo back on the track, racing Broken Thompson, and everything will be good to go. Eduardo coming back on the track right now, and Broken Thompson also coming out of the pit area.
And Eduardo took that solo pass earlier when we had a little bit of a miscommunication. So he's gotten a fresh practice lap. Don't know how good that practice lap was, but Broken Thompson out here ready to show what they can do.
Both drivers are lining up head to head right now.
Oh, a little bit of a red light from Eduardo. Don't know what's going on with Eduardo Damien here. And it looks like Eduardo Damien is going to have some technical issues on the line, which is now going to give Broken Thompson the bye run. Strange happenings here in this first group. So all Broken Thompson has to do is complete this lap, and they will be 1-0 in this group. Nice, easy pass. Oh, and a rough hit on the van stack.
Next race up is Kyle Knickerbocker and Broken Thompson. As we just saw Broken, he's going to pull back up to the line.
Yeah, Broken Thompson fresh off of that bye run. Kyle Knickerbocker, I've seen him race a few times. He is a bit of a strong competitor, so let's see how this matchup will go. Better, and they're off. Our first actual race here at the MuscleBlock.com Truck Fest looks dead even so far. They're coming around to the last turn. Broken takes it way wide, and it's going to be Kyle Knickerbocker taking that victory.
Yeah, very close race there. And our last race of this group is going to be Eduardo and Kyle.
Hoping to see if Eduardo has those technical difficulties figured out. Kyle Knickerbocker going to stay in that lane he just ran in. Maybe he feels more comfortable on this front stretch side. Eduardo Damian towards the back stretch. Got the ready from Kyle, just waiting on Eduardo Damian. He shows the thumbs up, and they're off. Clean start from both of them. A beautiful turn from both. Eduardo Damian gets a little bit knocked around on that straightaway, and it's gonna give Kyle Knickerbocker the victory.
And that's going to wrap up our first group, Group L there. And we look at our standings. That means Kyle and Broken are moving on to day 2. So congratulations to them. And we are going to be moving on to Group K here in just a moment. And we are up with the bracket for Group K as we see Nick and Matt are going to open up this group, followed by Ewan Ford and Gavin. And then in the round 2, Gavin and Nick are going to face each other, and then Matt and Ewan, followed by round 3 of Ewan, Nick, and then Matt and Gavin. So I would say in this group, the big name here is definitely Matt Tyrrell.
Yeah, on paper, it looks like Matt Tyrrell is going to maybe have a breeze through this, but this track is very tricky. Our first pairing is going to feature Matthew Tyrrell going against Nick Worthman.
Yeah, this should be a good one. Nick definitely looking for the upset here in the first opening race of this group. And I mean, anyone could win on this course. It really is a very simple course, and one mistake in a turn and you've lost the race.
Yeah, it's definitely getting down to, especially that last turn. That last turn is really going to be a decider in all of this. It's so tricky to find that balance between throwing it in there and still making the turn.
Nick has 45 seconds to get into the game so he can have a chance at his races in this group. Fortunately, it looks like he may have some truck troubles, but his opponent is waiting patiently on the line for him.
And we do have visual on Nick Worthman. And there we see it, Nick Worthman pulling on to the track. Matthew Tyrrell patiently waiting on the front stretch side. Nick Worthman finally getting to the line, letting on the ready up from both drivers. And they're off. Nick Worthman actually gets a little bit of a hole shot on Matt. Beautiful turn from both. Nick Worthman looks like he's in the lead by maybe half a truck. This could be an upset already.
Yeah, it's looking very close here at the finish.
Oh, but
Wow,
Matt pulls it back.
extremely close.
Matt pulls it back in the last turn.
Yeah, an incredible race there. I think that's probably the closest race that we've seen so far tonight.
Definitely, and that's just a testament to how this event is going to go. Close races.
Next up, E1 Ford, Gavin Dershel.
Yeah, I haven't heard much out of these two in the past, so really I have no predictions on how this could go. But these drivers staging up. Both are good. E1 left at the line. Really, all Gavin has to do is run a clean lap, and this should be an easy victory for him. On that last turn, it is going to be Gavin Dershel taking the win over E1 Ford.
Yeah, Gavin does take that, although Nick was coming back at the end. And, but although Gavin is going to take that and the glitched out. And next up, we got Gavin and Nick coming to the line. Gavin in the glitched out, and Nick in the Motorhead machine.
Yeah, Gavin is already taking that line he just ran. It's going to be leaving Nick with that backstretch side.
I think that is an advantage for the drivers that have back-to-back races. They can get to the line faster. If they have a preferred lane, they can almost guarantee a spot in that lane.
Yeah, and lane choice really doesn't matter on this track. Both trucks are doing the same exact thing, but it really just comes down to what you're more comfortable with. What kind of scenery you have for your braking points, what time you need to throw the truck into the turn. See Nick Worthman pulling back up to the line. Both these drivers are their second race of this group. Gavin Dershel left of the line this time. Beautiful tight turn from Nick Worthman.
Yeah, I would say Nick's got about a half truck advantage here going to the final turn.
Oh, but he spins out a little bit. That's going to give the win to Gavin.
Unfortunate.
Wow. Oh, and Nick Worthman dumps it over.
Gavin taking another win there and glitched out.
And it's going to come down to Matthew Tyrrell and Gavin Dershel, I feel like.
Yeah, if Matt wins this race, they will be tied 2-0. So, I mean, that last race in the group, Matt Tyrrell and Gavin Dershel, that's going to be an interesting one.
And it looks like we've got E1 to the line on the front stretch side. Matthew Tyrrell taking that back stretch side.
And they're off.
E1 left again at the line. This is basically a buy run for Matthew Tyrrell.
Oh, and there he goes.
Don't know what's going on there. Matthew just needs to keep
Oh,
it
but
clean and finish the lap.
He's messed it up. He needs to back up and get off the tire. Oh my goodness, he might lose. Oh man.
Matthew Tyrrell almost threw that away.
He did throw it away.
Did he throw it away?
He did throw it away. E1 Ford took the win in that race.
Wow.
If we look at the times, E1 did have a 17.8 in that round, and Matt had a 21-second pass. Obviously, times are based on when you leave the line, but I mean, Matt had a major advantage, and he got stuck at the turn for a good 5 seconds.
Your next pair out, E1 Ford and Nick Worthman. Nick Worthman has 2 losses in this group. E1 has a loss and a win. Nick hits the turning obstacle. E1 could pull out another one here.
Yeah, I must say, both the drivers are having a lot of problems, but E1 has a lot of problems at the start in his intruder. Oh my goodness, and E1's going to take that one.
Wow, E1 Ford. An underdog story here.
I mean, I know we're early on in the competition, but this may be upset of the night. If E1, I mean, if we look at the standings for the group, Gavin is currently at the top of the standings, and E1 is in second, and it looks like E1 is possibly going to move on.
Not at all what I thought this group was going to have. Our last race for this group is going to be Matthew Tyrrell versus Gavin Derschel. Both drivers are off. Gavin sails it into the turn while Matt keeps it lower to the ground. That's going to help him out. He's going to carry more speed through that straightaway coming down to the last turn. Matt slings it in there. It's going to be Matthew Tyrrell taking the victory.
Yeah, Matt's going to take that one in the Arctic Shock truck, and if we look at the standings for the end of that group, unfortunately, Matt couldn't make up the ground because Gavin and E1 are going to be advancing to day 2.
Yeah, E1 had the higher seed out of that. So E1 will be advancing to day 2 along with Gavin Derschel. Congrats to those guys.
And we are gearing up for Group J, which consists of Trevor Michaelesco, Jake Earns, Mark Culinary, and Marcelo Mendoza.
Yeah, and looking at these drivers, it looks like, just from a past standpoint, that this should be an easy victory for Mark Culinary in this group. But Trevor Michaelesco is nothing to really throw shade at, because I've seen him in many events and he can be a strong competitor. And our first pair coming out for Group J. It's going to be Jake Earns versus Mark Collinari. Mark in that great-looking Wicked Willie's truck, and Jake in El Chupacabra, a wild-looking 3D body.
Yeah, and this is an interesting story from Mark Collinari because obviously we know him as the driver on Sim with the most wins, but he sees himself down all the way in Group J with a terrible qualifying effort. He went for a second pass and he couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and that is the risk that our drivers had to take with qualifying. Our qualifying was very unique in the fact of you got one pass, and if you didn't like that time, you could elect to take another one. But if you took that other one, that is the time that was going to stay. We see Mark Collinari and Jake Earns pulling up to the line.
Mark Collinari in the Wicked Willies, Jake in the El Chupacabra.
Both drivers staged up, and they are good to go. Jake sails into the first turn. Mark keeps it low to the ground. We've seen that keeping it low to the ground is going to be more beneficial, but it looks pretty tight so far.
Yeah, this is a great race for both of them, and it's even coming to the final turn.
Wow, a very close race, but it's going to be Mark Collinari and the Wicked Willies taking the win over Jake.
Yeah, next up we've got Marcelo Mendoza and Trevor Michaelesco. This is surely going to be an interesting race. Trevor Michaelesco in the Traxxas SST, and Marcelo Mendoza in Cooldown.
They're both great-looking trucks out here. Don't really know too much about Marcelo in his competitions. Seen Trevor every now and then, so this could be an interesting race.
Yeah, Marcelo bringing out the Willman style truck, and Trevor Michaelesco is, I believe, in the race source here.
Yeah, and we've seen that the Willman chassis can have some advantages if you know how to drive it. Both drivers coming into the first turn, both keeping it nice and clean. It is dead even halfway through the lap. They both throw it into the final turn. This could be close. Wow, a very close race. And it looks like Marcelo Mendoza is going to take that.
Yeah, Marcelo in the cooldown is going to take that by about a tire over Trevor.
An amazing race right there. Trevor is going to stay out as he's going to face Jake Earns and that El Chupacabra machine. Jake Earns was no slouch in his race against Mark Collinari. He could be a threat in this group. Both drivers off. Trevor Michaelesco got a little bit of a hole shot on him. Oh, Jake messes up. Oh, no.
Yeah, big bobble for Jake in that turn. He clipped the tire and really just threw the raceway there, never recovered from it.
Yeah, and that's going to hand the victory to Trevor Michaelesco. Jake had another mess up in the last turn. Jake just now crossing the line. Definitely not the strongest run we've seen out of him, but he's got one more chance in this group.
Yeah, rounding out round two here, Mark Collinari and the Wicked Willies is taking on Marcelo Mendoza in cooldown. Both of these drivers have a win in round one, so they are currently 1-0, tied in the standings for this group.
Yeah, Mark in that first race almost got tripped up by Jake Earns, but he looked very smooth in that pass, so this could be a tough outing for Marcelo. Both are off. Pretty even start. They both keep it low to the ground coming into that first turn. over the car pad. It is dead even. Marcelo might even have a little bit of a lead as they both throw it in the last turn. Marcelo washes out a little bit, and that's going to give the victory to Mark Collinari in the Wicked Willies.
Yeah, another great race there. And Mark Collinari now up 2-0 in the group. And now we head into round 3 of Group J. Marcelo Mendoza and Jake Earns playing to the line, and then Mark Collinari and Trevor Michaelescu will round out the group. If we look at our standings for the group, Mark Collinari and Marcelo are currently at the top, Mark with a 2-0 and Marcelo with a 1-0, or 1-1 actually. There you see the beautiful El Chupacabra driven by Jake Earns pulling to the line.
Another red light from Marcelo. Gonna get that re-ready from both drivers. Now they're both off cleanly. Jake sails into that first turn. Marcelo is out to a fantastic lead so far. Oh, but it looks like Jake pulled it back.
Yeah, a fantastic race there from Jake. And now we are heading into our last race of the group. Mark Collinari, Trevor Michaelescu. Unfortunately for the rest of the competitors, it seems like this race will not matter, and the rest of them are eliminated as Mark Collinari and Trevor Michaelescu will be moving on. Unless something strange happens.
Yeah, really just a race for the fans here. Really more bragging rights behind this race, as both are off. Both clean down to that first turn. Very tight turns from both of them. They are dead even. Coming down.
Michaelescu's out of control, but he still keeps up the speed.
Into the final turn. It's going to be close. It's going to be Trevor Michaelescu.
Wow, what a race to finish out the group. And as I said before, Mark Collinari and Trevor Michaelescu are going to top the group in Wicked Willies and Traxxas SST. And that is going to conclude Group J. Group I is starting very soon.
Do you love monster trucks? TheMonsterBlog.com is your premier source for monster truck coverage, including video, photos, and much more. Find events in your area with our industry-wide events calendar. Like us at Facebook.com/TheMonsterBlog for exclusive content. Subscribe to us at YouTube.com/TheMonsterBlog to see TMB TV, the very best monster truck television anywhere. For all your monster truck information, TheMonsterBlog.com, where we know monster trucks.
And we will be starting the next group here, Group I, very soon. As you see, Zach37 on the line, just waiting for his opponent. And if we look at our bracket for Group I, Zach37 and Jeremy Castillo are going to open up the group, followed by Hagen Moscow and Max Halpert. And that is going to be round one.
And if you didn't see it before, we have two very beautiful trophies modeled and printed by one Andrew Wamsley, giving these drivers something to compete for after our 24 truck main event tomorrow night. Aaron, what do you think about those trophies?
You know, Andrew Wamsley did a fantastic job with them. It's really exciting to have a trophy for an event like this. I mean, I think it just makes people want to win even more.
Yeah, and those trophies are no slouch. They are substantial in size. But if you win an event of this caliber, then you deserve to have some piece of hardware.
It looks like we have reached the time limit for this group, and we have 3 of the opponents ready to go.
So we are going to have a buy run from Zach37 here. Zach37 is staging for his buy run. Give him a thumbs up, and he's got the green light, sailing it into that first turn. Takes it a little wide. It's going to carry more momentum over this straightaway. Gets a little bit of a bad bounce. Pulling it nice and tight through that last turn, and Zach37 is going to get the first victory of Group I.
Next up, Hagen Moscow, Top Gunner, Max Albert, HPI Blitz pulling to the line.
Yeah, 2 more great-looking trucks here. Hagen has had that same design for a couple of years now, but it always looks great out there. And this HPI Blitz, a wild-looking truck. There we see the HPI Blitz truck of Max Halpert staged up against Hagen Moscow and Top Gunner. Both drivers are ready, and they are off. Clean start from both of them. Max sails it in while Hagen keeps it low to the ground. Hagen slings it around into the straightaway. Has about a truck lead over Max. Coming down to the final turn. Max keeps it nice and tight. That could help him. It's going to be Hagen taking it by just a little bit. Very close race. Max Halpert is going to stay out on that track as he is now going to race Zach37.
Yep, Zach37 pulling back up to the line in Brenthal. And we will see this another race in 2 trophy truck style bodies.
Zach37 pulling up to the line. Just trying to get these drivers squared up. Both drivers are ready. And they're off. Clean start from both of them. They both sail it into the first turn. Max takes it a little bit shorter than Zach does. Zach's getting a little crossed up back there. Coming down to the final stretch. Max clips the obstacle a little bit, and it's going to be Zach 3-7 taking the victory.
Yeah, a really great showing from Zach so far in this group.
Yeah, maybe another dark horse there. Zach already up 2-0 in this group.
And if we look at our bracket, we're wrapping up around here right now with Jeremy and Hagen. Round 3 coming up soon with Hagen, Zach, Jeremy, and Max. And then we will see who advances to day 2 from this group. And this is going to be a buy run from Hagen. Of course, Jeremy did not make it to the start line in the first race and did not make it again in the second race. So Hagen's going to get a easy race here to possibly a transfer to day 2.
Hagen just completing his pass, a very safe pass, giving him that second victory in this group. And Hagen is going to have to line right back up, see if he can get that third victory, as he's going to be going against Zach 3-7. Both of these drivers are 2-0.
Yeah, we are rounding out in round 3 right now. Brenthal and Top Gunner.
Both drivers staged up and ready, and they're both off. No hole shot. Zach sails it into the first turn. Hagen gives it low to the ground. Gets a little slowed up in that turn there, but I don't think it'll hurt him that much. Hagen carrying a decent lead coming into the last turn. It looks like Zach 3-7 may have one-tired that roller.
It won't matter though. Hagen is going to take that one.
Yeah, very close race. 0.2 of a second splitting that up.
And obviously with Jeremy not able to make it, Max is going to do a buy run here. Unfortunately for Max, this run will not matter.
Yeah, just gonna air out this truck as one last hurrah to these fans. Coming around in the first turn. Be making a pretty decent racing pass if he was racing someone.
Very clean last turn.
Yeah, no slouch of a time, a 16.4. That would have been probably a race winner had he been racing someone. But it looks like Hagen Moscow and Zach 3-7 are going to be our two competitors from this group making it into day 2.
Yeah, great shine from both of them, especially from Hagen taking the 3-0 in the group. And that is actually the first time we have seen that so far tonight, where a competitor has gone 3-0 in all of their races. So congratulations to him. Real consistency out of Hagen. And we are moving into Group H in just a moment.
Yeah, and this Group H has some pretty good competitors in it. Haven't really seen much out of Travis Palm, but Chris Bialik, Zach Steele, and Trevor Amos are all threats to win racing. So this could be a very tight group.
Yeah, I am excited to see this group because I really feel like the two that don't make it, those are going to be real upsets because these are all big names, all 4 of them.
Yeah, and all of these can make an impact in tomorrow's competition, but only 2 of them will advance. got our first race about to go underway here. Zach Steele in that very cool looking military rat versus Travis Palm in Eclipse. Both drivers are ready, and they're off. Both can get nice and tight in that first turn. Zach Steele looks like he might have maybe a half truck lead coming into this final turn. Almost bobbles it there. But it is going to be Zach Steele taking the victory. Oh, and he bounces off of the van and almost does a backflip off of it.
Yeah, that was quite the finish. I really thought that Zach was going to lose it there in the final turn. He had a bad spin out, but he was able to gain the speed in the last straightaway and over the jump. But coming out next, Trevor Amos in the Tony Hawk truck and Chris Bialik in Party Time.
Yeah, party truck, a very fantastic looking truck. Here's a picture of Tony Hawk. Is certainly a monster truck that exists in this game. But all in all, I mean, I'm a fan of the truck.
I mean, it is certainly it makes a statement. That's all I can really say. I'm glad to see Trevor Ramos out here, and I'm glad to see him expressing himself through his truck.
What a truck it is.
I mean,
Here's
I
a
love
picture of Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk is a
fantastic.
fantastic human being. But let's see if Trevor Amos can be as fantastic in this race pass against Chris Bialik. Both drivers ready and they're off. Trevor sails it into the first turn. Chris keeps it nice and tight in that first turn. Coming down to the final stretch, Trevor throws it in. This could be a close one. Very close. It's going to be Trevor almost taking the victory.
Yeah, that may have been the closest race so far. And if we look at the times, a 15.9 and a 15.7, doesn't get much closer than that.
Yeah, very good race. And I think this group is going to be full of that. We've got Chris B staying out on the track, waiting for his opponent, Travis Palm, in that Eclipse machine. So we see Zach Steele and Trevor Amos both have one win, and Chris Bialik and Travis Palm having one loss so far in this group.
Both drivers are on the line.
Good start from both of them. Both absolutely throwing it into that first turn. It looks like Chris Bialik has a bit of a lead coming down into the final turn. Nice and smooth, and it's going to be Chris Bialik taking the victory over Travis Palm. And Travis is they're both going to have wild wrecks. Devastation out here.
Yeah, wild finish. We've seen a couple wild finishes today. These drivers are really pushing it to the edge, and sometimes you can't get it slowed down in time.
Yeah, and what better way to really just have a showing than to just completely trash your truck out there. So our next pair pulling up is going to be Trevor Ramos, and here's a picture of Tony Hawk and Zach Steele in military rad. Another beautiful shot of here's a picture of Tony Hawk.
Both drivers on the line.
Get the green light. Zach Steele left at the line. And Trevor Amos is going to take that victory.
Next up in our start of round 3 is Trevor Amos and Travis Palm. Trevor Amos, obviously, in that great Tony Hawk truck. Travis Palm in the Eclipse. And if we look at our standings in this group, Trevor Amos 2-0, Chris Bialik 1-1. And that is currently the situation. So if we take a look at round 3, it is really going to come down to the last race between Zach and Chris.
Both drivers staged up and are ready. Green light's out, no hole shot. Trevor electing to take the air route to the first turn. And it's actually going to help him in this race. He's out to a decent lead as he's going to throw it into that final turn. Travis clips the tire. He's going to bring it back down. It's going to be Trevor Amos taking the victory.
Really strong showing from Trevor. I mean, he just came out and absolutely dominated. Looking at the standings, I said before Hagen was the first one to lay on a 3-0, and we've already got Trevor Amos with the 3-0 in this group. So back-to-back 3-0s, absolute domination. Trevor Amos will be moving on to day 2.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what Trevor can do on that day 2 track as we've got our last race lined up here. Chris Bialik versus Zach Steele. Both drivers ready, and they are off. Good start from both of them, taking very similar turns. Zach Steele gets slowed up a little bit. Chris Bialik in a slight lead as we come to the final turn. Zach Steele throws it in more. This could be a tight one at the finish.
Wow.
A very tight race. Wow, Zach Steele is going to take the victory by only 1/10.
That was incredible. Trevor Amos and Zach Steele are moving on from that group. And I mean, the closest race of the night, and that was the one that decided it all. Really strong showing from everyone in that group. That was probably the most entertaining group so far, and it's only getting better from here as Group G is starting next with Tyler May, Alex Ferrulo, Brandon Warwas, and Mario Ortega.
Yeah, this is another one of those groups where Tyler May is the more well-known on Sim Monsters, but that's not to discredit Alex Ferrulo, Brandon Warwas, or Mario Ortega, because really any of them could take this victory here.
And I do believe that this is our final group before our intermission, so stay tuned for that. We've got a great show on this amazing dirt track. Mega trucks are going to come and entertain the audience for halftime entertainment.
Yeah, we've got 6 mean trucks in the back ready to tear up a special course laid out just for them. So stay tuned and see how that's going to look. Our first 2 competitors in this Group G pulling up to the line, Brandon Warwas versus Alex Ferrulo. Alex Ferrulo in that beautiful looking pure muscle, and Brandon Warwas in, I believe that's Texas Terror?
Yeah, a really good looking truck, Texas Terror. I love the theme, I love the body. Really, a really solid truck. Both of these trucks are really great looking at, and they're lined up and ready to go.
Brandon Warwas staging up. And the green light is out. Looks like Alex Ferrulo might have a little bit of a lead coming down into this final turn. Brandon Warris takes it a very wide. It's going to be Alex Ferrullo taking the first victory.
Next up, Mario Ortega, Tyler May. Mario in the Flying High, Tyler May in the Octanator.
Yeah, once again, two great-looking trucks. A lot of great-looking trucks in this field tonight. That Octanator body beautifully crafted by one Edson Mendez or Beltran. Taking a look at that Flying High machine as we're waiting on Tyler May to stage up.
Both drivers stage at the line.
They've got the green light. Clean start from both. Tyler May flies it into that first turn. Mario Ortega keeps it low to the ground. Tyler May looks like he's got a bit of a lead over Mario coming into this last turn. Mario hits the tire, which is going to give the victory to Tyler May in the Octanator. As Tyler May is going to pull back up to the start line as he will now be facing Alex Ferrullo in that pure muscle truck.
Yeah, right back to the line for Tyler May in the Octanator.
No time to cool down. There we see Tyler May in Octanator pulling up to the line. See what he can do against Alex Ferrullo. Both drivers are ready and they're off. Both getting some decent bounces into that first turn. Dead even halfway through. Alex Ferrullo throws it in too hard and he's going to go over. That's going to give the victory to Tyler May.
What a tough break there.
Yeah, nasty looking wreck from Alex Ferrullo. But he's going to have one more chance later on in this group. It's our last pair for round 2 of Group G. Mario Ortega in the Flying High versus Brandon Warris in the Texas Terror. Mario is staged up and waiting. Brandon Warris pulling up to the line. Mario Ortega gets a little bit of a hole shot on Brandon Warris off the start. Both keeping it clean down the straightaway. Brandon Warris does the same thing Alex Ferrullo does. He tosses it in too hard. He's going to roll it back over. But Mario Ortega is going to take the victory. And fresh off that victory, he is now going to have to go against Alex Ferrullo.
Yeah, there must be something up with the dirt in that turn. Two very similar rollovers, and the two trucks that did it are now facing each other.
Yeah, and they both very quickly pulled up to the line. They are ready to go. A good start from both of these competitors. Alex Ferrullo gets a little bit of a weird bounce into that first turn. Mario takes it a little slow. Alex looks like he could have a little bit of a lead here coming down to the final turn. Alex keeps it nice and tight. Mario Ortega spins out. He's going to go into some nice donuts, and Alex Ferrullo is going to take the win over. Mario Ortega.
Again, it's that turn.
Our drivers might be psyching themselves out with that turn.
We are heading into our last race of Group G, which is also our last race before intermission, which brings us to the halfway point of our event.
Yeah, our last pair is going to be Tyler May versus Brandon Warwas. Tyler May currently 2-0 in this group. Brandon 0-2. So really, Tyler has already locked himself into day 2. And Brandon will not be advancing. But he could still make a statement here by trying to beat Tyler May.
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing that Brandon can do here as he is last in the standings. But still could possibly have a good showing as the last race of right before intermission.
Both drivers pulling up to the line, ready to get that green light. And there it is. Clean start from both of them. Tyler May gets a little bit of a weird bounce, and Brandon Warwas dumps it over again. A tough showing for Brandon.
The black lane struggles all night for people, and Tyler's going to take the easy one in the last race of this group.
Yeah, and our 2 advancing drivers from Group G are going to be Tyler May and Alex Ferrulo. But a great showing from Mario and Brandon, both of them.
And with that wrapping up Group G, we are going to take it to intermission now. We have a 15-minute intermission with mega trucks on the dirt infield of the dirt track. We will see you back here in 15 minutes for the second half of group stage racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our Mega Truck Time Trials presented by our friends over at RRMTP. And in the booth to call the action is the league owner Chadwick Deerfoot as we have our first truck ready to go. The Ohio Shaker about to tackle this tough course.
He is staged at the line waiting for the signal, and he is off up and over the first obstacle, which is the crossover jump that you will see with the monster trucks later on the big course. Coming back around now, going through the underside of that crossover. Up and over the roller hill here. Nice little bit of air there up and over the cars. Has to keep it under control though, as he's got to bring it around these 2 turning pylons. Up and over that roller, and now up and sending it over the last jump. Big air there across the finish into a slap wheelie with a 30.203.
Before the rest of these trucks. Next up we have the Monster Mash.
Yep, this one modeled after the old ambulances from the military. He is off and running up and over the first jump, keeping it a little more closer to the ground there. Nice tight turn, bringing it around, cutting through there beautifully. Oh, kind of wheelied there a little bit. Front end got up in the air, keeping it under control though. Around the 2 pylons here. Now he's going to make it for the home stretch run. Some big air off of that one. But keeping a little more closer to the ground, and it actually pays off a 29.598. That will be your new mark to beat.
Earthquake pulling up to the line now. A great looking truck.
Yep, we got the late 80s, early 90s Fords here. He is off and running. Up and over the crossover. Already had that rear steer turn in the air to try to set it up, but it pushed him out a little bit wide. Had to get on the binders there a little bit to try to make it through the underside of there. Launching it over that roller. Oh, he gets in trouble, but he keeps it from rolling over there. Swings it out wide, hits some of those banners, but he's still okay. Up and over the roller here. Oh, look out!
Oh, no!
Oh, boy.
Ooh. Tried to pull it back over, but could not.
32.018 for Earthquake, but now have to see if that thing's ready to go.
Yeah, Ted in a shot up to the line. A mean-looking truck.
Yep, this old, like 30s or 20s Ford just launching it off the line hard. But again, kind of going wide. We're seeing that these guys are having a little bit of a problem there with keeping it under control off of that crossover jump to make the underside. Up and over the roller, nicely done there. Trying to keep it low to the ground. Nicely around the 2 pylons and now making it for the home stretch. Nice run there, 30.375. Won't take the lead, but very good run for the first round of the Mega Trucks.
A great run. And now we have some diesel power out here. Smoke signals.
Oh yes, our only diesel truck in the field, and man, that thing is just screaming off the line. Up and over the crossover jump. Actually doing a good job keeping it under control there. Ooh, but it washed out a little bit trying to get through the underside of the crossover. He is really trying to keep it low to the ground. Got a little more air off of that one, but still doing a pretty good job around the big sweeper here. Up and over the roller here, keeping it low again, and now gunning it for the finish, launching it over 33.174. A little wild at the end, but still a pretty good run.
Next up, Man of War. Another great looking truck. A bunch of great looking trucks out here.
Absolutely, and this is one of the wildest ones of the bunch. Nice up and over the crossover, really wide out of there, but throws it in hard to go through the underside, keeping up a lot of speed. Checked up a little bit there, but still got some pretty good air off that roller. Now really checks up for the cars. Through the sweeper beautifully right there. Up and over the roller, now for the final jump to the finish. And there is your new lead time, 29.121.
A blazing fast time to round out round 1. Now we're going into round 2. We've got the Ohio Shaker back up to the line. See if he can beat that.
He is staged and waiting for the green from the officials, and there it is, off and running. Up and over the crossover. Out onto the speedway. Uh-oh!
Oh no! A DNF for the Ohio Shaker, not what he wanted.
Nope.
Not going to be taking a crack at that lead time.
No, that's the danger there, going out in that speedway like that. The elevation changing it bit him. Here comes Monster Mash off the line for his second run. The only other truck to hit the 29 so far. Again, nicely done over the gap jump through the underside. Again, beautifully. Up and over the roll. That truck's still going nose high, though. Evidently, the front shocks were a little bit stiff on it. Coming around the far side again, nicely done. Up and over that hill. Now he guns it for the finish. 29.631. Another good run, but that will not take the lead.
No, Man of War looks like it's got this thing in the bag so far as we got Earthquake pulling back up for his second pass.
Here he comes off the line. Got a little bit of wheel spin there where they're starting to dig up the dirt there quite a bit. Oh man, he cut that real tight, but actually hits the landing ramp of the crossover there. Sends it off the roller, big time air, but checks up nicely there through the big sweeper here at the end. Coming up and over that roller, he sends it again up and off the car jump. Man, 29.727, great run, but again, not enough to take the lead.
Yeah, and these runs are getting wilder and wilder as everyone is trying to chase down that Man of War machine, setting that blazing time.
Here we go. Now we got the tetanus shot back up there again, and there is the green. And again, we see that wheel spin where they're starting to get that dirt loosened up there. He's going to spin it around and try to bring it under through. Nicely done there. It washed out a little bit, but he's still keeping the momentum up, and he launches it off that roller. But checks up for the car pad through the big sweeper. Now here comes the home stretch run. Up and over the roller, a little out of shape. Oh man, he had to check up there. He was going all over the place. And it reflects in the time, 30.173.
Coming back out with that diesel power again, smoke signals, see if he can take down that top time.
Waiting for the green. There it is, rolling coal hard off the line. Launches it up and over. Trying to make sure he doesn't high side it like Ohio Shaker did earlier. Nicely done through there. Actually gets some more air this time. He's even pushing it harder than he did on his first run. Coming around town here. Up and over that roller. Gunning it for the finish line. The big air right there hits 30.896. That will not take the lead. So this is just a pass for glory right here.
Man of War showing who is boss out here between these 6 trucks. already has the win locked down. He's just going to put on a show for these people.
Yep, this is just all for fun now. He has the win locked up. He didn't even have to go out and make this pass, but he's going to anyway. Bring it around a big sweeper. Hard on the gas, up and over the roller, and look at that.
Oh
Really?
my!
Oh,
Still pulls out a 29.8 in it.
man, that was a wild wreck, but he will take the win.
Yeah, it looks like Manowar is going to take the top spot after that very exciting competition. Chadwick, thanks for joining me in the booth to call the action, and we'll be right back for more Monster Truck Racing action in a few short minutes, so sit tight.
We are back for the second half of group stage racing on day one here of the monsterblock.com Truck Fest. We are heading straight into Group F through A. But before we conclude the event with the last 6 groups, we do have some clarification for a few previous groups and some mistakes that were made earlier on. And my colleague Devin Doss is going to take it away with that information.
Yeah, upon further review during intermission, our officials have come to the decision that Chris Bialik is actually going to move on instead of Zach Steele, and Matthew Tyrrell is going to move on instead of Ewan Forge. A couple of mistakes there. It's very hard to tell sometimes during a live event what goes on sometimes, but we've gotten that nice and corrected away. We are ready to get back here racing.
We are now in Group F with participants Andrew Wamsley, Tyler Richmond, Cora Solera, and Levi Shones. And we are going to start it out in round 1 with Tyler Richmond and Cora Solera coming to the line to start out the group.
Yeah, Tyler Richmond in that Outbreak machine, a very cool looking truck, and Cora Solera and another good looking truck, that North County Bandit. Getting a good look at that Outbreak truck. Cora is actually in a Willman, which a lot of people before the event have said is the preferred setup, but it still takes a little bit of mastery behind that to beat your opponent, as both drivers are off. Cora bouncing into the first turn, going to clip that tire and roll over. An unfortunate break there for Cora, as Tyler just has to complete the lap in that Outbreak truck, and he will, taking the first victory in this group.
You know, that really is a continuation from our previous couple of groups where we saw a lot of mistakes in the black lane, and especially in the turns. So I don't know if something's going on in that lane, but people are having trouble with it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with that lane. It's just, like you said, before intermission, there were a bunch of mess-ups in that lane, and now it's just continuing. So I don't know if the drivers are just overthinking it or if there is something up with that lane. I don't think there would be. But let's see how it works out in this race, as we have Levi Shones in that beautiful Heatwave machine going against Andrew Wamsley in a very classic look for Wonder Wagon. See Wonder Wagon pulling up to the line. Andrew Wamsley, as you heard earlier, the printer and creator of those beautiful trophies that will be given out after the competition tomorrow. Both drivers staged up and ready.
Wambo knows what's on the line here. He's seen the trophies.
I'm sure Wambo would love to just keep one of those trophies for himself, as he's putting on a very good pass against Levi Shones. It's a little bit of a weird bounce into that last turn. Levi keeps it tight, but it's going to be all Wambo at the line. Oh, and Levi comes up a little bit short. He's going to have a wild ride, but he's going to be able to bring it back down. We are going to see that Wonder Wagon machine out there once again, and we're going to have Outbreak Tyler Richmond back out on the track, starting off round 2 for Group F.
Yeah, Wambo, I feel like he's been on this track every day practicing, because I think that lap was very consistent. He looked very strong, and he's looking to try it again against Tyler right now. This is one of the stronger groups. We've seen some big names early on, but Wambo, I think, is maybe the biggest name of this group.
A very tough competitor indeed, as both drivers are staged up. They're both ready, and there's the green light. Good start from both of them. Wembo flies it into that turn, but keeps it nice and tight. He's got a little bit of a lead over Tyler Richmond in Outbreak. Both going to throw it into that last turn. It's going to be a tight one. Wow, very tight one. It's going to be Wambo taking the win in Wonder Wagon.
Yeah, that was a close race, a 16-7 and a 16-6, 1/10 of a second between them. And
So,
if we look at our round robin bracket, we're going to finish out round 2 with Cora Solera and Levi Shones, heading to round 3, Levi and Tyler, and then rounded out with Cora and Andrew Wamsley. If we look at our standings, Andrew Wamsley currently in the lead with a 2-0, then Tyler Richmond a 1-1. And heading to the line right now is Cora and Levi.
Yeah, both of these drivers currently holding a 1 loss apiece in this group. One of them finally going to get into that win column with this race as they're both staged up and they're off. Cora gets a little bit of a hole shot over Levi. Levi takes it wide. He watched out a little bit. So does Cora, though. Cora's still maintaining a little bit of a lead coming into that last turn. This could be another tight one. Another tight one is going to be Cora taking the win.
Yeah, that was an exciting race. Both drivers messed up a couple times, but it really evened out to make a close race.
That it did. Cora Solera getting that win. Levi Shones unfortunately falling to 2 losses so far. As Levi is going to stay out on the track and his opponent is going to be Tyler Richmond in that Outbreak truck. Levi going to go back to that black front stretch lane, putting Tyler Richmond in the green lane. Both drivers showing that they are ready. And there's the green light. Tyler Richmond gets a better start than Levi does off of the line. Keeps it nice and tight into that turn. Levi watches out a little bit. This is Tyler Richmond's race to lose right now. Levi takes it wide, and it's going to be all Tyler Richmond at the finish.
Yeah, that was a tough race there for Levi. He washed out in the final turn, and any hope of taking the win was really lost there, and opened the door for Tyler to take that win. And in the standings, that is going to put Andrew Wamsley still at the top.
And our next race featuring Andrew Wamsley going against Cora Solera. Wambo having 2 wins, Cora having 1 and 1 loss.
And I don't want to jinx anything here, but the last 3 groups had 3 O's for the top seed of the groups. So we are looking for a 4 in a row, 3-0.
It's got a good rhyme to it, as both drivers are readying up. Just trying to find that right groove to start this race in. Finally get the green light. Both of them flying into that first turn. Dead even halfway through. It's all going to come down to this last turn as Andrew Wamsley takes a little bit wide. Cora takes a little bit tighter. It's going to be very close at the line. It's going to be Andrew Wamsley in Wonder Wagon taking the win. Another 3-0.
I thought I may have jinxed him there. He looked a little bit behind him. That was an extremely close race to wrap up the group. Cora with a strong showing. That race there, a 17-1, a 17-0. So, I mean, that was a very exciting group.
Yeah, Wambo might have been the preferred competitor out of that, going 3-0. But Cora kept it very close in that last race. A very good showing.
And that is going to mean Andrew Wamsley and Tyler Richmond are moving on to day 2. So excellent job for them as we move on to Group E.
So at Group E, another stacked group out here full of names that have been around the site for a while. Blake Thompson, Chadwick Deerfoot, Zach Nicholas, and Brad Curlin. Maybe not so much Brad Curlin. I haven't really heard much out of him in recent times, but definitely Zach Nicholas, Chadwick Deerfoot, and Blake Thompson are very well known within this community.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this group. A lot of strong names. I think that Brad Curlin really is the underdog in this group, and I could see him making a couple upsets.
Yeah, and who doesn't love an underdog story, especially for an event of this caliber? If he could pull off a win against any of these guys, then, you know, you can go home and really just take that with you. Our
And
first
here we
pairing,
go.
2 Willman trucks out here. Chadwick Deerfoot in the pure breed truck going against Zach Nicholas in that great Mustang body Night Strike, a very classic name for him.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. These Willman trucks all night have been keeping it lower to the ground over the jumps and tighter in the turns, so I expect to see that out of both of them, and this should be a very close race.
And we saw Andrew Emsley do very well in that black lane, so maybe the problems have been figured out as both drivers get the green light. So one of our drivers maybe having some technical difficulties, as it looks like this is just going to be a free pass for Chadwick Deerfoot.
Yeah, problems there for Zach Nicholas.
An unfortunate turn of events there. He looked fine, but something unfortunately fell through. As our next pair up to race is going to be Brad Curlin in that no label 44 going against Blake Thompson and another Willman truck, Firestarter.
Yeah, this group consisting of 3 Willmans.
As we see Blake Thompson up to the starting line, Brad Curlin just now pulling up. Both drivers ready, and they're off. Brad Curlin flying off into that first turn, slowing him down a little bit. Blake Thompson keeps it nice and tight. Blake's going to have about 3 or 4 trucks of a lead here, really throwing it into that last turn. A beautiful turn, and it's going to be all Blake Thompson at the line. And Blake, after that great pass, is going to have to stay out and face Chadwick Deerfoot in pure breed.
Yeah, another Willman versus Willman here.
And I know these two competitors go way back. They've talked with each other a lot in the past. So that could either mean that they have a nice, cordial, friendly race, or just trying to one-up each other here.
Both drivers at the line.
And off the start, no one getting the edge. Chadwick really throws in that first turn. Blake keeps it more conservative. Dead even. Coming down to the final turn, Chadwick keeps it a little tighter. This is going to be a close one. Wow, and it's going to be Chadwick Deerfoot by that much. An amazing race right there.
That was a spectacular finish. I mean, we're talking less than 1/10 of a second between those racers. Moving right along, Zach Nicholas is going to get another shot on the track, taking on Brad Curlin. And if we take a look at the brackets, as you see, we're rounding out round 2 right now. Round 3, we'll start with Brad and Chadwick, and then Zach and Blake. Looking at the standings, Chadwick on top with the 2-0. And with the current situation of 4 in a row, 3-0, we're looking for number 5.
Yeah, Chad looking very strong in this group so far. See Brad Curlin in that no label 44 truck. Hopefully Zach Nicholas has his problems worked out and can finally get a good race here. Both drivers staged up, ready, and they're off. Both of them electing to just gas it over the tabletop into the first turn. Brad takes it a little wide, slows him down a little bit. Zach has a bit of a truck lead coming into this last turn. They're both having to slow down in the turn. Zach clips the middle obstacle, and it's going to be Brad Curlin taking the win.
Another spectacular race. Another one less than a tenth of a second.
Yeah, this race has been full of close races.
Yeah, this is definitely the closest group so far. And as we talked about before with the 3-0, Chadwick going for it right here against Brad Curlin.
And Brad Curlin himself holding a 1 win and 1 loss. So if he can manage to get the win here, he could help his case in trying to make it into tomorrow's competition. Green light is out. Chadwick gets a little bit better of a start. Brad Curlin has to slow up just a little bit in that turn. It's going to help Chad maintain this lead of about 2 trucks coming into this final turn as he's going to bounce that truck around. Brad Curlin has to slow up a little bit. It's going to be all Chadwick Deerfoot.
And there we go.
Oh!
Oh my goodness.
A wild wreck for Brad Curlin as Chadwick Deerfoot continues the streak of 3-0s here.
Yeah, I mean, the possibility for 3-0 was always there, but I just didn't see it happening more than once, let alone 5 times in a row.
Yeah, it just goes to show maybe sometimes practice is key. The more practice you have on this, the more consistent you can be. And all of our drivers that have gone 3-0 have looked very consistent on this racetrack.
Yeah, we head into the last race of Group E. Zach Nicholas, Blake Thompson, point to the line right now.
Yeah, Zach Nicholas, unfortunately, going 0-2 after his first 2 races, having those technical difficulties in that first one. But Blake Thompson, 1-1. Zach Nicholas has a little bit of trouble over that first turn. Blake gets wild over that car pad. Blake having a nice, smooth pass, and he is going to take the victory. So that's going to set him at 2-1 in this group, and our 2 competitors that are moving on to tomorrow's competition going to be Chadwick Deerfoot going 3-0 and Blake Thompson going 2-1. But a great showing from Brad and Zach out there.
And I must say, Chadwick and Blake are making those Wilman trucks look really good because, as I said about them before, they were taking those turns extra tight, perfectly around the tire, and I think that's going to translate well into the race course for tomorrow.
Yeah, that longer wheelbase and just the fact of you have that better kind of center of gravity with that engine being up front. You can really just point that truck in and tell it where to go. Those Wilmans are definitely going to be tough to beat.
And we head into the last 4 groups. Group D is now up.
That's right, Group D, consisting of Vincent Ackard, Dylan Kearns, Rocco Piergrossi, and Josh Kingma. Now, Vincent Ackard, I've seen a bunch out of him over this past year, and he can definitely be a huge threat in racing. So this could be his group to really just take away. But that's not to discredit Dylan Kearns, Rocco, or Josh Kingma. As we've seen so far, there can be some upsets with this group stage racing.
And we are just waiting on 2 of the competitors. We do have Vincent Ackard and Rocco in the arena, ready to do battle. Unfortunately, their opponents, Dylan Kearns and Josh Kingma, are not here quite yet. They do have about another minute to get in and get ready.
Yeah, and hopefully they can make it in because, as we've seen, when we have 4 really good drivers out here, this racing is very exciting. It's very tight. Just waiting on Dylan Kearns, as our first pairing is scheduled to be Rocco Piergrossi versus Dylan Kearns. Rocco in fair play.
Unfortunately, it looks like Dylan won't be able to make it to the track.
Well, it's really a shame, but this is going to look great on Rocco Piergrossi's resume, as he's going to get a free win here in that monster taxi fair play.
And he is going on his buy run right now, just to make a clean pass on the track, and he will get the 1-0 start in the group.
Yeah, I don't want to say this is maybe some false confidence, but you can see that you get even a free win, and that could maybe sit in your mind a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't go to Rocco's head, as he puts in a nice, respectable 16.8 pass. Our next pairing out is going to be Josh Kingma in Wild Card versus Vincent Ackard in that very interesting looking piece of scrap truck. Another Willman out here.
As we see Vincent Ackard sitting on the line in his truck, and Josh Kingma pulling to the line right in front of him.
Both drivers staged up, ready to get this race started. They are gone. Both of them electing to just gas it into that first turn. Vincent's got a huge lead over Josh Kingma. Coming down to this final turn. A beautiful turn from Vincent Ackard. And it's going to be all Vincent Ackard at the line. And since Dylan Kearns could unfortunately not make it out to this group, now Vincent Ackard is going to be taking a bye run. So this will give him a free win in round 2 of Group D. All he has to do is just take a nice clean pass. It looks like that's exactly what he's doing, although he's not really taking it very slow. He's really out here trying to hot lap, as he maybe gets it a little too much as he gets tripped up, pulling it into a moonwalk there in the middle of a race. I haven't really seen that before.
It's a very good thing he didn't have an opponent there.
Yeah, and now he's just going to ride off into the sunset.
Putting on a show for the fans in the buy run, you gotta respect the grind.
You know, these fans paid for a show, and by God, we're going to give it to them. So our next race out is going to be Rocco Piergrossi in fair play, going against Josh Kingma.
And we're going to take a look at the brackets, wrapping up round 2 right now with Rocco and Josh. Round 3, Josh and Dylan. That's going to be a bye run for Josh. Dylan not able to make it out. And we're going to finish out with Rocco and Vincent, rounding out Group D.
Josh Kingma pulling it back out from the pits. Going to be taking the black lane. It's that great looking fair play taxi monster truck. Both drivers are ready. There's the green light. Rocco Piergrossi gets a better start than Josh Kingma. Josh gets an awkward bounce into that first turn. Rocco has a good lead coming into this final turn. Goes a little bit wide, but it's not going to matter. It's going to be all Rocco Piergrossi, going 2-0 in this group so far.
Yeah, it's exciting to see the domination right now from Rocco and fair play, as we're going to see Josh pull back up to the line for a byron.
And it is now time for Josh Kingma's turn to get that free win, since Dylan Kearns could unfortunately not make it to the line in time. Just has to take it nice and easy. As I say that, he just floors it over that car pad. Might have one-tired that roller, but it doesn't really matter.
Nice and easy is not in any of these guys' vocabulary.
Apparently not. But a clean pass nonetheless from Josh Kingma. It's going to go 2 losses with a 1 win in this group. We have our last race. This is the race for first place in this group. Both Rocco Piergrossi and Vincent Eckert 2-0. So they're both moving on. But
Yeah,
this just
we're
see
gonna
who gets first place.
This is the chance, the 6 in a row.
Vincent Eckert has a beautiful first turn and a beautiful second turn. Wow, that might be the best pass I've seen so far.
A 15.8, a spectacular time for
Oh,
Vincent.
and Rocco slams into the van.
That is absolutely the fastest time we've seen today.
Yeah, Vincent Eckert is no slouch when it comes to this. He looked smooth in all of his passes, except for maybe his by run, but he wanted to go out and put on a show for the people. But once again, another 3-0. How many is that in a row now?
That, I believe, is 6 in a row
Wow.
of the last 6 groups. And we've only got 3 left. And we are headed for a very short break as we head into Group C, the last 3 groups of the event to wrap it up. We will see you very shortly.
Do you love monster trucks? TheMonsterBlog.com is your premier source for monster truck coverage, including video, photos, and much more. Find events in your area with our industry-wide events calendar. Like us at Facebook.com/TheMonsterBlog for exclusive content. Subscribe to us at YouTube.com/TheMonsterBlog to see TMB TV, the very best monster truck television anywhere. For all your monster truck information, TheMonsterBlog.com, where we know monster trucks.
We are back here for Group C, and just one more thank you to the guys over at themonsterblog.com, your source for anything monster trucks. A huge thanks for coming out and help really just publicize this event and put their name on it. It's a great partnership that we have here. As Group C is in game, we got Brandon Adam, Seth Holloway, Ike Toussaint, and Sean Ryan.
We have 3 of the competitors ready to go. Fortunately, we're just waiting on Seth Holloway to get his truck ready.
Now, Seth is the more, I would say, well-known name on Sim Monsters, but he did not take the top spot in qualifying for this group. That went to Brandon Adam. So Brandon Adam could be the strongest competitor out here for this group.
Yeah, Brandon Adam was a big surprise in qualifying. He went earlier on, and I remember him throwing up that time, and I was like, wow, you know what? I haven't heard of him, but I am excited to see him because it really seems like he can put on a show and possibly take the win today and going on to tomorrow.
And it's great to see maybe some of the, I don't want to say lesser known names, but maybe in the bigger community, maybe not the more known names coming out here and showing what they can do, especially an event of this size.
We are dropping the first race of the group. We will return to that soon, but we are moving on to Sean Ryan and Brandon Adams.
Brandon Adam pulling out here in that Fiberworks trophy truck, going against Sean Ryan in that Maxxis Racing Ford. Brandon Adam taking that black lane, putting Sean Ryan in the green one. Both drivers setting up and ready to do battle out here. Both with a clean start. Brandon Adam jumping to the turn. Sean Ryan keeping it nice and low. Brandon Adam looks like he has about a half a truck lead coming into this final turn. He really stabs the brake and gets a beautiful pitch in for that last turn. It's going to be all Brandon Adam. A great pass from him. A 15.7. One of the fastest of the night.
Yeah, Brandon Adam has really come out of nowhere, and I think he's one of the fastest guys out here. He proved it in qualifying, and he's proving it right here on the track. That is the fastest pass. The last one was by Vincent Acker with the 15.8. The 15.7 is the new fastest pass of the night.
Wow, Brandon Adam really out here making a name for himself as our next pair. Sean Ryan going to be staying out in Maxxis Racing, going against Ike Toussaint in what's his truck called? Nightwalker.
And both drivers are on the line.
Both ready, and they're both off. Ike Toussaint in that Willman. Doesn't look like it's going to be helping him so far, though. It's a little slow. Looks a little sluggish out there. Maybe some engine problems coming from that Nightwalker machine. And Sean Ryan trips up a little bit on the tire in the turn, but it's not going to hurt him that much. It's going to be all Sean Ryan over Ike Toussaint. Oh, and Sean Ryan's going to dump it over. He's not going to be able to bring it back. Next race up is Brandon Adam versus Ike Toussaint. Brandon Adam already back out to the line, just waiting on Ike. It looks like we're actually going to be getting Seth Holloway versus Brandon Adam. Seth Holloway finally getting his truck out from the pits. Seth Holloway in that very purple Screaming Evil. A great paint job done by, I think it was Chadwick Deerfoot.
Absolutely. Chadwick painted that one.
Seth left at the line. Brandon Adam taking a nice tight turn. He's going to have about a truck and a half lead coming down to the wire. That's going to be all Brandon Adam with another 15-8. Brandon Adam is here to race.
Going a little out of order here on this bracket, but we are going to go back to the race we were going to have before with Ike and Brandon.
Brandon Adam definitely showing that he is no slouch on this racetrack. He's run so far in this group a 15-7 and a 15-8. So he is a very fast competitor. He's got to face Ike Toussaint. Both drivers are ready and they're off. Brandon has a beautiful first turn, maintaining about a 2 truck length lead coming down to the final turn. Another great turn. Ike Toussaint watches out a little bit. Brandon Adam lays down yet another 15-8. Brandon Adam is very quick on this track.
Yeah, not only is he quick, but he's consistent. All of the times in the 15, can't say that about anyone else in this field. So people need to look out tomorrow because I think that he is a favorite to win.
He definitely is. And like I said earlier, he's maybe not one of the more known names out here, but he's definitely making a name for himself. An unbelievable performance from Brandon Adam, going yet again 3-0.
Yeah, that makes 7 in a row.
What an insane stat.
Can we finish out the event like that, though? That's the real question.
But now we have Ike Toussaint in the Nightwalker going against Seth Holloway in the Screaming Evil. They're both off. Relatively even coming to the halfway point. It's all going to come down to how they take this last turn. Ike Toussaint hikes it up a little bit, and it's going to be all Seth Holloway because of it. Fresh off that victory, Seth is now going to be lining back up against Sean Ryan. Both drivers are 1-1. So this is the deciding race to see who makes it to day 2 out of this group. Brandon Adam, obviously with going 3-0, has already advanced. But now it's just down to Sean Ryan and Seth Holloway.
And here we go, the last race of Group C.
Time to see who wants it more, who wants that chance to claim one of those 2 beautiful trophies going into tomorrow night's competition. They're both off relatively even in the first turn. Still very close as we come down to the last. Seth gets a bit of a bad bounce. Sean Ryan takes it wide. It's close, but it's going to be Seth Holloway taking the victory and moving on to night 2 of the monsterblog.com Truck Fest.
Yeah, very exciting group. Obviously topped by super fast Brandon Adam, and then followed by Seth Holloway. So a fantastic group there, 2 fast racers, and we will see them tomorrow as we head into Group B.
2 more groups to go. 4 more people to advance to night 2 of this event. And these groups are far from bad. I mean, this upcoming group, Group B, John Zimmer Jr., who just recently started his real-life monster truck driving career in Terminal Velocity. He's going to be representing that truck here tonight. Going against Magnus Berkland in Zanzibar, Travis Livedall, and Joseph McLean.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting to see John Zimmer on the course. Lay down a very fast pass at qualifying.
Yeah, John Zimmer Jr. is a threat to win any event that he is a part of. He has made his name known in everything. He is a very fast competitor, and he can also freestyle. So if he can make it into tomorrow's event, then he will definitely be someone to watch.
We are going to start out this group with Magnus Berglund and Tristan Livdahl. I am excited to see Magnus out here. Magnus has been around for forever, so to see him in a giant event like this, it's fantastic.
Yeah, Magnus Berglund coming in from Europe, so I'm sure that this is doing wonders for his sleep schedule. But he's going to be driving that Zanzibar truck, trying to make some waves out here in this competition. Another Willman. He's going to be going against Tristan Livdahl in that cool-looking chill-out made by Eddie Beltran. We see Magnus Berglund pulling up in that Zanzibar truck. Both drivers getting ready to do battle out here in this first race of Group B. Both drivers are ready, and they're off. Tristan Livdahl gets a little bit of a hole shot in that chill-out machine. Magnus is going to carry more speed off of that turn, though. Falls a little bit behind. Magnus has a beautiful tight turn, but it's going to be Tristan Livdahl in the chill-out machine taking the victory over Magnus.
Yeah, there was a big bobble for Magnus in the last turn, which cost him the race. He couldn't get any speed going over the finish.
But next up, we have Joseph McLean in Time Bomb going against John Zimmer Jr. in that great-looking terminal velocity. A truck that exists not only here, but in real life. As you see John Zimmer Jr. in that terminal velocity machine. Great-looking piece. As he's patiently waiting Joseph McLean to pull up to the line. Both drivers at the line, giving the thumbs up, and they are off. John Zimmer Jr. getting the hole shot off of the line. A very clean turn. He's going to have about 3 trucks over Joseph McLean in Time Bomb. Another great turn at the end there, and it's going to be all John Zimmer Jr. with a 15.8.
Those were beautiful turns for John. I don't think you can get any closer to the tires than he was. I mean, an inch away.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that he has put some time on this track. That might have been the cleanest pass that I've seen out of anyone tonight.
Yeah, there's only a couple drivers in the 15s, and especially down in the 15.8s, 15.7s. And we are lining up for the next race. John Zimmer, Magnus Berglund.
John Zimmer already taking that victory that you just saw. Looks like John Zimmer Jr. had a bit of a technical failure. Looks like his throttle may have stuck without him knowing.
Yeah, that was a tough situation. I mean, not much you can do about it there. Other than, duct it back together, get lined back up.
The green light not even showing, but they are both ready to go.
Yeah, John Zimmer went all the way down the track. I mean, to the wall. But he's back lined up, ready to go.
They're both even as we come halfway through this lap. Magnus keeping it nice and tight to John Zimmer. But Zimmer is going to have the better turn, and it's going to be John Zimmer taking the victory with another 15-8. Again, very consistent.
Got the throttle unstuck there, and he took the win.
A very interesting situation out here, but the man knows what he's doing.
And we are up on the round robin bracket for Group B. Tristan Livedall and Joseph McLean are taking the line right now, and then we've got Joseph McLean and Magnus Berglund, Tristan Livedall and John Zimmer wrapping it up in round 3. Looking at our standings, John Zimmer with the 2-0, going for the 3-0, which would be 9 in a row, I believe.
Yeah, and that would be quite the thing to end on here, as our last few groups have shown pure domination, but it hasn't been domination in the sense of people running away with it. They've all been pretty close races. It's just it goes to one driver.
Both drivers
and
ready
they
to
just run away
line.
with it. Off the line, Tristan Livedall going into that first turn. A good-looking turn from both of them. Maybe Joseph McLean has a little bit of a lead as he throws it into that final turn. Gets tripped up a little bit, though. It's going to be a close one at the line. It's going to be Joseph McLean taking the victory as he dumps it over. And Tristan Livedall is going to try to save his truck. And he does. A wild race and a wild finish from both of these drivers.
And we are now in round 3 of Group B. Joseph McLean and Magnus Berglund are pulling up to the line.
Joseph McLean currently going 1-1 so far in this group. Magnus Berglund unfortunately going 0-2. So let's see if Magnus can get his way into that win column.
Yeah, so some surprise upsets from Joseph McLean, taking out some big names here.
That's right, and he's looking to take out another bigger name here, going against Magnus. Great turns from both of them. Magnus has about a half a truck lead. Joseph McLean throws it into the final turn. Goes way wide, though, and that's going to give the win to Magnus in Sansevar. And another wild wreck at the end of the race. Both drivers dumping it over yet again.
A wild race there, but we are wrapping up Group B right now with Tristan Livedall and John Zimmer pulling up to the line. Once again, John Zimmer going for the 3-0. I believe that would make 10 in a row. I believe that's the count we're up to.
No, I believe it'd be 8 or 9. But nonetheless, John Zimmer Jr. looking to get that undefeated rank against Tristan Livedall. Tristan looking to see if he can upset one of the bigger names on Sim Monsters. Zimmer has a beautiful turn. Tristan Livedall spins out. He's going to flip the truck over. And it's going to be all John Zimmer Jr. going 3-0 in that terminal velocity truck. Running a 15.9.
Wow, tough break there for Tristan. John Zimmer is going to move on with a fast time again in the 15s. And he's going to be 3-0, topping the group. And in second, Magnus Berglund is actually going to move on to day 2.
Yeah, that's going to be great to see Magnus out there for day 2. I think his truck might be set up a little bit more for that day 2 track. So look out for him tomorrow. We're about to start our last group of the night, Group A. Some very, very well-known names in this group. Andrew Sheets, Christopher Hamilton, Josh Gajewski, and Eddie Beltran.
Yeah, this is the group that I've been looking forward to all night, ending the event with a bang. Andrew Sheets, one of the fastest names on Sim Monsters, and he's got a bunch of fast guys with him too. Christopher Hamilton is an incredible racer, so Josh Gajewski. Eddie Beltran can make some upsets here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how all of these races go down in this group. you can maybe make the case that Andrew Sheets can add his name to that undefeated streak, but I think he will not go down without a fight coming from Chris Hamilton and Josh Gajewski. And Eddie too, of course.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting, especially the first race with Chris Hamilton, Josh Gajewski. Man, this takes me back to 2011, 2012 with a race like this.
Yeah, this is a very classic matchup. Some of the oldest leagues on and off Sim Monsters. These guys have faced each other for years.
And especially with this being a celebration of the 10th anniversary of Sim Monsters, having names out here that have been around for all of 10 years, it's spectacular.
That's right, Chris Hamilton in that great-looking over-revved truck. That's a name he's had for a few years now, and I think this is the best iteration of that truck. Josh Gajewski in Control Freak, another name that he's had for many years. So they're both pulling up. Both drivers ready. There's the green light. No advantage to either driver off the start. Josh Gajewski gets a nice bounce into that first turn. It's dead even coming down to the end of the race. Both carrying a lot of speed through those turns. It's a close one.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. That's about as close of a tie as you're going to get. I actually don't know who won.
We will have to go to a replay here.
Just trying to make sure and see who won that race.
It is going to be Chris Hamilton taking that one.
Wow. An absolutely stunning race. The finish came down to mere thousandths of a second on that.
An amazing race there. I mean, what a way to start Group A.
Yeah, and that just goes to show both of those drivers, as we said, go way back. And so they know how each of them race. So I didn't expect anything less than a close race there, but I think that race got even closer than I thought it was going to be. Our next matchup is going to be Andrew Sheets in that Skella Dragon truck going against Eddie Beltran in Utter Madness. Both drivers are off. Both keep it nice and low to start off. Eddie goes a little bit wide. Andrew has a beautiful first turn. Andrew throws into that last turn. Eddie gets bounced up a little bit, and it's going to be all Andrew Sheets at the line with a 15.701.
Wow, that is actually the new fastest time of the night. Barely taking it away from Brandon Adam.
Wow. These guys are going to be at each other's throats come tomorrow. And Andrew, after setting that blazing fast time, is now going to have to go against the guy who just barely won his race against Josh Gajewski, Chris Hamilton. This should be a good one. Both drivers are ready, and they are off. No advantage off the line. Chris absolutely sails it into that first turn. That might hurt him, as Andrew Sheets holds a little bit of a lead over him coming down into this last turn. Andrew gets bounced up a little bit. Chris Hamilton washes out, and it's going to be all Andrew Sheets. Running a little bit slower that time, but still a very fast time of a 16.0.
Yeah, Andrew is so dominant out here. He looks impossible to beat. I I have a strong feeling we're going to see a 3-0 here, although his last opponent is going to be Josh Gajewski. And with that in mind, we are heading into the last round. The last race of round 2, Josh Gajewski, Eddie Beltran, and then Eddie Beltran, Chris Hamilton in round 3, and wrapping up Josh Gajewski and Andrew Sheets, where we will decide if Andrew gets the 3-0 to end the night.
Our next race out, Josh Gajewski in that Control Freak against Eddie Beltran in Utter Madness. Making sure our drivers are staged appropriately. So it looks like we are good to go now. Both drivers ready and they're off. Both can get nice and low to the ground off the start. Just because he has a nice tight turn. Maybe holds about a half truck lead over Eddie. They both throw it into the turn. Eddie made up some time there at the end, but it's going to be all Josh Gajewski.
Solid pass there for Josh Gajewski. Trying to make up for the first race that he lost to Chris Hamilton and make a comeback here.
Yeah, and speaking of Chris Hamilton, he is now going to pull the line against Eddie Beltran. Chris Hamilton pulling up to the line. Eddie Beltran already there waiting. They're both off. Chris Hamilton gets a bit of a hole shot over Eddie there. Chris has a good bounce into that first turn after flying towards it. He's got about half a truck lead. He watches out wide though. This could give Eddie a chance. Very nearly does, but it's going to be all Chris Hamilton at the line.
Yeah, it looked like Eddie could make a comeback there at the finish, but Chris straightens it out just in time for the final jump. We head into our last race of Group A, our last race of the night. Josh Gajewski, Andrew Sheets looking at the standings. Andrew's going for the 3-0. Chris Hamilton has a 2-1 right now. If Josh Gajewski manages to win this race, it'll put him at 2-1, and then the decider is between Chris Hamilton and Josh Gajewski. However, if Andrew wins this race, he goes 3-0 and ends the night with a very long 3-0 streak.
Yeah, definitely not what I predicted when it came to this group race. I knew as the night went on that the races would get tighter, but I didn't necessarily see a lot of the runaways that we have with this gigantic 3-0 streak that we have.
There was a real turning point in this event where the matchups were kind of even, some 2-1s, but then at some point it went all 3-0.
Yeah, and let's see if we can get Andrew to that 3-0 in this last race of night one. Andrew Sheets clips the turning car. That's going to make it dead even halfway through. Good turns from both. Coming to the finish, it's going to be Andrew Sheets.
There it is, the 3-0 from Andrew Sheets to wrap up the night. And moving on from that group is going to be Andrew Sheets and Chris Hamilton, two big names in Sim Monsters, moving on to day 2. And speaking of day 2, that is going to wrap up day 1.
That's right. All 24 competitors are set for tomorrow. Kyle Knickerbocker, Broken Thompson, Matthew Tyrrell, Gavin Dershel, Mark Collinari, Trevor Michael Lesko, Zach 37, Hagen Moscow, Chris Bialik, Trevor Amos, Alex Furlow, Tyler May, Tyler Richmond, Andrew Wamsley, Blake Thompson, Chadwick Deerfoot, Vincent Eckerd, Rocco Piergrossi, Brandon Adam, Seth Holloway, John Zimmer Jr., Magnus Berkland, Chris Hamilton and Andrew Sheets are all going to battle it out tomorrow night when we open up this course to a gigantic crossover track. It should be exciting to watch.
Absolutely. Thank you all for coming out today, to all our competitors, and thank you all for watching stage racing action. It only gets bigger from here. Tomorrow night we have the big crossover course racing and the huge freestyle track with these 24 competitors that qualified. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you and good night.